Hello everybody, welcome to ScottyDGaming. I'm Scotty D, and today is my review of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Intro roll you must! Jedi Fallen Order is a third-person melee combat adventure game. The combat, leveling systems and exploring are heavily influenced by Sekiro, and the platforming and cinematic moments look like something out of an Uncharted game. Both of these are good things, however. The game is good, and I think that most players will enjoy it, especially Star Wars fans, because this really captures the spirit of the Star Wars universe. It took me about 18 hours to finish the story, and within those 18 hours I did a lot of unnecessary exploring. If you just follow the story, which I would highly recommend doing, the game will be a lot shorter, maybe 13 to 15 hours, which is still a good length for this type of game. I'll start with the story, and I'm just going to say now, I loved it. You play as Cal Kestis, a young Jedi Knight who managed to survive the Order 66 kill command that killed most of the Jedi. He's been living a regular life as a rigger to avoid the Empire. In the opening sequence, he's forced to break cover to save a friend, drawing the attention of an Empire Inquisitor. Cal is helped to flee by an ex-Jedi called Seer, and from here it's Cal's mission to try and restore the Jedi Order. Every one of the named characters you'll meet are unique, distinguishable, and have great personalities that fit in with their backstories. The facial animations are excellent, and this really helps with the immersion, making the cinematics look like a movie. The two standout characters for me are Cal, the main character, and his droid BB-1. The camaraderie they build together over the course of the game is reminiscent of that of Luke and R2-D2. You've always got your little mate with you, and it helps with the passive storytelling because Cal mentions relevant things out loud as you're adventuring, and it makes sense because he's talking to his droid instead of just to himself. The direction that the devs took with the tone and atmosphere of the game has to be commended. Jedi Fallen Order follows the same serious and sinister tones as the original movies and keeps the jokes to a tasteful minimum. This feels like it could belong in the canon Star Wars universe, episode 1 through 6, not that new bullshit that they're making now. The core of the game is split into 3 different types of gameplay: the Sekiro style combat, exploration, and the Uncharted style platforming. The combat and platforming are done very well. Not excellent, but well enough to be fun, and the exploration is just there for the sake of having it. Unfortunately, it feels like padding, but I'll talk about this later. The combat is a dodge and parry based system. You can block attacks, but it isn't the best way to play. You parry attacks by tapping the block button just before the attack hits, and this will drain your opponent's stamina. Once their stamina bar is drained, they'll either open up so you can hit them with a barrage of attacks, or enable a one-hit kill style finishing move. Bear in mind that you can usually break weak enemies' stamina bars with a single parry, but for tougher enemies you'll need to land more than one parry to drain their stamina bar. The only attacks that you can't parry are the attacks where the enemy glows red beforehand. These are unparryable and unblockable, so you must dodge out of their way. It's a nice simple system that works, and it does feel responsive. The exploration is similar to the Souls Sekiro games. You have meditation spots that act as your bonfire save points, where you can level up with the experience points that you gain from enemies, and you have these semi-open world maps where you'll find secrets, shortcuts, and clusters of enemies to battle. There are parts of the maps that won't initially be accessible until you either find a new upgrade or a new power, meaning that you'll have to backtrack to planets at a later time. The platforming is cinematic like the Tomb Raider and Uncharted series. You can slide, climb, jump and wall run, allowing you to traverse the different planets that you'll visit on your adventures. I did enjoy the platforming. It often coincides with the puzzles that you're going to face, and it's a nice break from the combat, giving you a chance to see the sights. And the sights are definitely something that you'll want to see. The backgrounds and sheer scale of the environments that you're going to come across are at times jaw-dropping. A huge crashed starship or an ancient towering Jedi vault are just something to behold. However, and there is a however, the graphics quality is often inconsistent. Case in point is the intro level to the game. It looks amazing, shadows and reflections are on point, and it's smoother than Mace Windu's head. Then you get into the main game, and the graphics quality takes a massive nosedive. It's like they pulled the good old switcheroo, showing you a sexy young Twi'lek in the window, but once you get inside, you're greeted by Jabba the Hutt. It's a bit of an extreme comparison. The game is not hideous looking by any means, but you get the point. Once you leave the intro, the performance and graphical fidelity suffers greatly, with frame drops and some washed out visuals. For the most part though, the game is good looking, and it does capture the Star Wars feeling, which I think is the most important part. Jedi Fallen Order has leveling and customization systems, giving you something to work towards. As you kill enemies, you're going to be getting XP, which you can use to spend on new combat, force, and general character upgrades. These upgrades are par for the course. There's not enough diversity in skills to allow different character builds, and you're probably going to be able to buy most of the stuff just by playing the game normally. The best skills you can buy are unlocked towards the end of the game, and most skills before that are just utility in nature. However, I can recommend upgrading the force push ability, because one-shotting a hard enemy off a cliff is one of the funniest and most satisfying things you can do. It's the Star Wars equivalent of a bitch slap. I love it. The customization options include changing the way your lightsaber looks and different skins for you, your ship, or your droid. Don't get too excited though. Your only clothing options are different colour ponchos, which all look hideous. I opted not to wear them and just stick to my regular flight suit for most of the game, because I looked a bit like Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi, and that's awesome. I did like the lightsaber customization. You can create some awesome looking combinations with the parts that you find, but that's all it is. It's just something that looks good. It's only visual customization. This brings me onto the issues that I have with Jedi Fallen Order. They have missed a massive trick with the customization aspect here by not assigning stat bonuses to the different lightsaber parts, which would give you a reason to actually go out and explore to find them. Faster attack speed, better force regen, more damage, quicker dodge, speed, or more stamina. These are all boosts that could have been applied to the different lightsaber parts, or even a single big stat boost or unique ability for using a fully matching lightsaber set. But right now, there's zero incentive to explore and find these parts. The loot is complete dog shit. There's nothing but cosmetic items to find in chests. You're never excited to open up a new chest because you just know it's another fucking poncho. I'm not interested in playing Star Wars Barbie doll. I want to be rewarded with new weapons and abilities. Something substantial for venturing off the beaten path. But there's just nothing here. You get all new weapons and upgrades by following the story. There's nothing to find outside of that, apart from the very rare health pack upgrade. It's really disappointing. If you do decide to explore, regardless of the lack of incentive, it's only made more frustrating by the lack of fast travel. You can't fast travel between meditating spots. There's no excuse for omitting this. If you make your way to the end of a level, which could be huge, you're backtracking all the way back through it again to get to your ship. It's boring and a waste of players' time. One consolation that makes this tolerable is that there's only one planet that's significantly larger than the rest that has multiple paths, and that planet is Zepho. The other planets are much smaller and more linear, which suits this game much better in my opinion. My last issue is with the parrying aspect of the combat. There's a delay between parries. It's not the same as Sekiro, where you can tap the parry button as each attack hits. You can't do that here. Once you parry an attack, there's a delay before you can parry again. I don't understand why they made this decision. It makes fighting multiple opponents very frustrating, because you can't parry fast enough to deflect all of the incoming attacks. The only option in these situations is to hold down block after the parry, so you don't take damage, and then dodge roll away, kiting the enemies around like a sheepdog. It's not fun and breaks up the momentum of the otherwise good combat system. I just wanted to be able to parry a group of enemies in quick succession with skill and timing like Sekiro, but with the glow and hiss of a lightsaber for some awesome Jedi action. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. It might sound that I'm being a bit harsh on Jedi Fallen Order, but that's because I really enjoyed it and I can see the potential. For a brand new IP, it has done a lot of things right, and it's the Star Wars game we've all been waiting a long time for. If this is the quality that they've managed in the first game, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the series in the future. I can easily recommend this to everybody, especially people who enjoy the Star Wars universe. My advice would be to stick to and enjoy the story. Don't let the worthless exploration slow down the pace, and you're going to have a great time. Play it, and may the Force be with you.